So how long should we take niacin until the lipid tests show any results? I'm doing 500 milligrams. Usually, I would take 500 milligrams every single day for at least 30 days. Usually, we start to notice a huge difference with the lipid levels within about the first 3 weeks, sometimes even less. So ideally, I'd like to do it for at least 30 days, 45 days before we actually do like a blood test to see where the lipids are at. That's average. And after that, you can actually decide whether you need to kind of maintain on that 500 milligrams level or actually take a little bit higher of a dose. But give or take about 3 weeks. And maybe do your tests about 30, 45 days. Usually a 6-week period for a blood test. But it depends what is your goal, whether you're just trying to kind of control cholesterol more than anything. But 500 milligrams is pretty good actually. It's pretty well tolerated, and it does not cause much of an increase in, let's say, uric acid, because some individuals end up having uric acid issues if they take too much. Great, I'll get a blood test. Then there are warnings about death due to high intake. There is no warnings from niacin. They've been trying to shut down niacin for freaking years. It has 84 years. It's been used for lipid control, and every couple of years they try to kind of control it somehow. So it's there's no issues, and it's a water soluble, so your body flushes it out. What does it mean when you are burping constantly? It's your gut. Something is off in your digestive system. So it could be like your digestive juices could be quite weak, and that's what's causing the constant burping effect. My goal is to bring down triglyceride, LDL quickly. Yeah, you can reduce your triglyceride, LDL, and total cholesterol, and you can actually increase your good cholesterol, which is HDL. You ever got Blumpkin? It's my son, and he tested negative for H. pylori. So if you have issues with H. pylori, pretty much you have to address that correctly. You can definitely use mastic gum. You can definitely use colloidal silver. There's a lot of different things you can definitely utilize it with. Yeah, that's my German Shepherd. He's actually running in the background. He's sitting on the bed, relaxing. He doesn't want to go outside yet. I don't know if you guys can see him. There you go. Hey, Duke. He's looking out of the window. It's like it's winter all over again here. It's getting cold again. It's supposed to snow on Wednesday and Thursday, so it's kind of sucks. It's very cloudy outside. It's supposed to rain today. I don't know what the hell. I was supposed to leave last Friday, and we had the issue with the weather on the road, so I couldn't leave. Now I postpone it to this Friday. So this Friday I'm leaving off grid, and we're getting Wednesday and Thursday snow. So hopefully by the time I leave on Friday, there won't be any snow. Nerp, thanks so much. Yeah, he's about 2 years old right now. Farida, thanks so much for the flowers. See you in BC one day. Hopefully when I leave next week. So what I've been doing, guys, I've been trying to write down all the questions you guys have been asking me. So this way, when I post it on YouTube, you guys can kind of see the questions that have been asked, because it's never really recorded as good. Why is the target threshold for blood pressure in healthy young adults 120/80, but 140/90 in people over 40ish with type 2 diabetes? This is for Cosmo Kramer. I am actually doing a video in regards to that. And there's no such thing as a healthy blood pressure 120 over 80. That's all bullshit, to be honest with you. It's all kind of been made up to kind of control people. Once they go over 120 over 80, they can start to feed you medications. But if we actually look at the, let me just write this question down because I'm trying to kind of keep all blood pressure question. So technically, most experts believe that everyone should be treated with their blood pressure that hits 140 over 90. And people with actually type 2 diabetes or kidney disease, their maximum level should be actually 130 over 90, not 140 over 90, 130 over 90. But anybody that's over the age of 60, it's okay if their blood pressure reaches 150 over 90 or lower. That's what we like it to see. If it's actually is above that, then we know there is some sort of calcifications, kidney damage, so on and so forth. The problem is with a lot of the experts, so-called experts, or let's say a lot of the drug companies, it's the same way they came up with the issue about cholesterol level should be below 200, which is another bullshit because they want to sell you more statins. Because if you look at the numbers 10 years ago, 10 years ago was actually about 300. If your cholesterol, up to 300, you're fine. Now, if your cholesterol over 200, they want to feed you statins. So the same thing they've been doing with the blood pressure. And that's why the blood pressure, it became such an issue where they wanted to maintain everything 120 over 80, which is, I think that's kind of bullshit because what happened is I have tons of patients that I deal with. Their blood pressure is in the upper 140 over 90, 130 over 90, or even 150 over 90, but yet they have zero calcifications, zero soft plaque buildup. So these numbers, it varies per person, but it varies per ages. Because imagine if we want to make sure everybody is 120 over 80 and we're going to feed you like 1, 2, or even 3 medications, we're going to end up causing more harm than good. And we're going to end up causing frequent urination. We're going to cause dizziness. We're going to cause erectile dysfunction. And we're going to cause an increase in a gene mutation effect. I'm going to actually do a video in regards to this, Cosmo, and I'll actually post it up maybe tomorrow or Wednesday. And I'll actually talk in specific why they've been actually pushing the meds and why they've been pushing the numbers of about 120 over 80, which is, I think, is ridiculous. John Don, which digestive enzymes I use? The digestive enzymes I use, I do have them on my website. For the one I use, actually is by Enzymatica. And they actually have a full blown of proteins, amylase, lipase, and other enzymes to actually break down whether you consume gluten or other things. So it is ideal to actually have, and it's actually gonna help take off the issues of your liver, of your pancreas. Doctor's Best has created a new niacin with less flushing experience, means decreased effect. Yes, 100%. You need the flush effect for the lipids, no matter what. Without the flush effect, you're not going to control your lipid at all. How long after taking niacin you see results? Usually within about 3 to 6 weeks. It depends on the individual. We've seen like massive results within about 3 weeks, taking 500 milligrams. And after 3 weeks, this way you can actually predict whether you need to take more than 500 milligrams or take, 1,000 milligrams based on your levels. Can you cure post after COVID vaccine or not? There's certain supplementation you will have to take, especially specific ones like carnosine and benfotiamine to actually prevent and neurokinase. But I'll probably do a video on that, talk about it in specific. What do you know about take it for long COVID? Hold on, let me write these questions down because I'm writing all the questions down. You're talking about the, okay. You could take it. I don't have much experience on that, sorry. Magnesium for blood pressure. Yeah, you need magnesium ionic chloride for blood pressure support. And you actually have to saturate. I did a full ebook on how to saturate correctly with magnesium. Guys, some of the comments are being blocked, just to kind of let you know ahead of time. So definitely look into that. Whoever's been sending me a message, please do a video. Been struggling, and I will for sure. Is calcium carbonate safe to take? Should be fine. It depends what is your goal for taking the calcium carbonate. If you're doing it for bone density, you do have to include other trace minerals with it. Social anxiety, you can actually use L-theanine, or you can use Go-To Cola. They're both really good. My level is 1.2. You can take it. You don't need to take calcium. You can take. You can get calcium with getting like bone meal, or doing bone broth as well would be good. The second one I mentioned was Go-To Cola. G-O-T-U Cola, which is K-O-L-A, and it's really good as well for anxiety. But I like L-theanine; it actually works much faster. With soft plaque restricting the LAD to 73%, will NATO be sufficient? NATO works good. You do need polyphenols as well too, and you do need Go-To Cola as well too. I just did the video just recently on Go-To Cola in regards to soft plaque suppression, so definitely look into that. Be helpful to reverse a soft plaque. What other supplements? I did a video, Candle. Did you get a chance to check it? The recent ones. I have about 3 videos on soft plaque reduction and reversal. So definitely check it out, because it does actually explains everything in specific. Doctors think I have gallstones. How do I remedy this? Olive oil and lemon. But if you're not getting any pain and you're not getting any floaters, no, I don't think you would, unless you're getting like a CT scan or something and they predict that you have gallstones. I'm new here, but do you give dietary advice? Yes, I do, Stephen. If a liver is leaking fluid due to cirrhosis from sugar abuse causing abdominal ascites, can the fluid go away on its own if a person changes the... Yes, it does, but the problem is it can take up to 3 years, and it depends whether it's actually leaking bile or not. But yeah, it can take up to 3 years sometimes to actually fix that up. Thank you much. Do you use fluoride toothpaste? I do not, no. And I do not recommend it. What do I take after going through cancer treatment? You can download my cheat book, because I do have a lot of information in regards to cancer treatments and what to take. Any form of L-theanine, I tried sun-theanine and it gave me bad headaches. The one I've been using for the L-theanine is by California something. I buy mine from iHerb. I'll give you the exact name, the one I use. Actually, I have 2 different ones I use. I have the one on my website. Why don't you download that one? Check that one out, because there's one by California Gold I use, and the other one I just started using. Let me give you the name. I think it's by either Swanson or... yeah, it's by NutraBio. Check them out. They're both really good, actually. I live in Ontario. Can I get that one? You can order that one. Or there's another good one. Since you are in Canada, you can actually... one of the best L-theanine for in Canada is made by Canpriv. And Canpriv is a Canadian company. They are found in Ontario, in Toronto. You can definitely get that one. I think that would be the best thing to do. because they actually make a really good supplement of L-theanine, and they mix a little bit of magnesium with it, which is excellent. Intermittent fasting, 18 hours a day, eat 3,000 calories a day with 2 meals, and majority of calories come from fatty chicken, ribeye, and lamb, and eat avocado, eggs, oranges, apples. 2 no unnatural sugars. Okay, is there anything you would add to that? Well, it depends on the chicken. If the chicken are not pasture raised, I would actually completely remove them from your diet, because they actually cause a high level of omega-6 inflammatory effect. And chicken don't really, just make sure they are pasture raised more than anything. Lamb and ribeye, make sure grass-fed, grass-finished, if you're going to be consuming a good amount of fats as well too. Avocados are good, eggs, oranges, apples. For the fruits, only if they are in season. I bought Life Extension 1000 milligrams of taurine capsule, but you recommend the powder. If I break open a capsule and dump the powder in water, it's the same as using the powder products. 100%. The only reason I was recommending powder of taurine, because you have to use quite a bit in the beginning, roughly about 3,000 milligrams per dose. That's the only reason. If you're not able to get pasture raised, then stop eating chicken completely. Organic means nothing. They're still being fed grains. Selenium, what is good the brand? Why would you want to buy selenium? Why don't you just eat Brazil nuts? Best zinc supplement for the cell to absorb. You recommended BPC 157, but it's for needles. It comes in a pill form, Canadian. They do have a Canadian, they don't have a Canadian one yet. You only have to get it from the US. Here in Canada right now, we can only inject BPC 157. We cannot get a Canadian version that is actually in capsules. You'll actually have to order that directly from the US. So that would be best to kind of get it from the US if you want to try it. Just saw the Camprib L-theanine with magnesium. I guess the combo helps social anxiety and even more. I use it myself, and it's a really good product. It works amazing. Roughly comes about 200 milligrams, but you can definitely go as high as 400, 600, or 800 milligrams. It depends how much your body requires. Organic fruits are good and everything. It's just, I would stay away from the chicken, Stephen. How do you dose it through the day? Empty stomach. Empty stomach for the L-theanine. Drinking from a copper water bottle, good? Yes, every 1 liter of copper drinking water, you get 2 milligrams in total. And that's usually what it has. So you have a dysfunctional automatic nervous system, which stands for ANS for short. So are you getting like anything such as tachycardia or irregular heartbeat or anything like that? I just need a little bit more information if you can tell me what it is. How to eat a Brazil nut? Should I soak on water? You're only eating like roughly about 5 to 7 pieces, so there's no need to soak them. But if you do get like any anti-nutrient effect, or you're having issue digesting them, then I would soak them in 24 hours. But yeah, if you soak it, you are gonna sprout it, and it's actually gonna activate more of the nutrient absorption as well too, which is excellent. Usually what I do is I soak them for 24 hours. I put a little bit of apple cider vinegar, but make sure you change the water every 10 hours so it doesn't cause any mold, for example. Or you can actually use Himalayan salt. But I think that would be the best thing to do. Stephen, I hope I was able to answer your question on YouTube there. And if you have more, definitely let me know. Is 5,000 IU of vitamin D too much every day? No, it's not too much, because what you have to do is take 1,000 vitamin D3 per 25 pound of body weight. Magnesium, oops, did I miss the question? No. Magnesium, B vitamins, and other supplements breaking a fast. Hard to fast if you take them. No, it does not break a fast. They're water soluble. Why do you recommend taking magnesium ionic chloride with taurine? I've not heard any other expert mention this. That's magnesium ionic chloride is the most natural and has the highest magnesium elemental to actually be absorbed the most in our small intestine. Taurine will actually allow magnesium to penetrate the cells correctly. If you don't take taurine, it's going to take you a very long time to actually saturate your body. No experts out there talk about magnesium because, to be honest with you, they have not experienced it. A lot of the influencers out there, what they do is they see a product, they see scientific research, they talk about it, but it's never really been tested. I've been testing a lot of the stuff for a very long time. If you just take 200 milligrams or 300 or 400 milligrams of magnesium a day without taking, let's say, taurine, it will take you probably 4 to 5 years to actually saturate. Once you take taurine with it, you can actually saturate within about 6 months. Plus, the half-life, the magnesium has such a short life expectancy in our system, and it needs a very high pH level for us to actually absorb magnesium correctly. But we're not really looking at magnesium form, we're looking at a magnesium elemental, and your body is capable of absorbing anywhere between 60 to 200 milligrams of magnesium elemental per dose. If you take more than that, and that's what a lot of the companies are trying to actually do, they actually mix like magnesium glycinate and they force like a 5,000 milligrams. Well, your body cannot really absorb that much, and you end up getting a soft stool effect. So you have to actually give your body small amounts every couple hours to actually saturate correctly. And this way you can actually saturate within about 6 months or maybe less than a year properly. Because we're looking for magnesium levels of 6 milligrams per deciliter or higher. How many tablespoons of olive oil and lime for a gallstone pain? You gotta drink half a cup of olive oil and half a cup of lemon. Natural calming supplement that actually works. L-theanine. Magnesium chloride puts me to sleep when I take it with magnesium taurine. So the magnesium ionic chloride, the nice thing about it, it has a wide different things that it does to the body. Does the taurine help increase bone density, or is it a glycinate best? Taurine is mostly used to actually allow more magnesium to hit the cellular level. That's why it's actually used for blood pressure issues. If we have soft plaque in arteries, what would you consider as the most important foods to be part of your diet to help cardiovascular health, particularly to heal the endothelial layer? Nitric oxide with gotu kola, or nitric oxide with magnesium. Taking magnesium and taurine the same time? Yes, I would take them the same time for magnesium and taurine. That's the only way you can actually saturate correctly, and that's the way you can actually control your blood pressure, for example. Where is the book for magnesium saturation? If you go on my picture on the top there and go to my main website, you can actually see all the ebooks that I actually created. So this is how you do it, guys. Hey Duke, it's okay, bud. So there's taurine. This is a pure powder taurine. We got about 450 grams of taurine here, and there's your trace minerals, and this is what it has magnesium. Every 40 drops will give you 200 milligrams of magnesium. All you need is some fresh water. I'm not gonna put a lot, but I'm just gonna. This is what I do every 3 or 4 hours. You have to do this. Sometimes I would do it 4 times a day. Sometimes I would do it 3 times a day. So there's your water. All you need is roughly about 40 drops. I'm just gonna guess that I put 40 drops. I don't know how many. Maybe I'll put like 80 drops. I'm used to it. I've been doing this for a very long time. And all you need is 3,000 milligrams of taurine. That's the only way you can actually saturate magnesium correctly. So there you go, 3,000 milligrams. You can either put it in your water, and that's all you have to do. 3,000 milligrams of taurine, 200 milligrams of magnesium ionic chloride, and it has the trace minerals. And that's how you can actually absorb it at the cellular level. And that's how you can actually fix your A-fib, your atrial fibrillation, tachycardia, and a lot of these other things. So all these things are fixable. Are you bringing it so we can get? Oh, so this is a Canadian brand name. So if you are in Canada, which is you are Frida, you can actually get this. The company name is Canpriv. I get it here locally. Now, if you are in the US, you can try the other brand name. I have them on my website as well too. But this is the one I use here in Canada. This one here comes from Australia. It is a US company. I have it on my website as well too. The only reason I like this one, it is pure ionic. It comes directly from seawater. It has all the 70 plus minerals, plus it has magnesium, plus it's a balanced electrolyte. Any suggestion for chronic fatigue after clean off medicine? D-Ribose and creatine to actually reboot or reboost your mitochondria level. Is it good for kids too? Oh, 100% it is good for kids. For kids, we'd actually give them 500 milligrams of taurine twice a day. And for the magnesium, you give them about 10 drops twice a day or 3 times a day. Hi, Maurice. Some of these impossible to import to Ireland. Like which ones? Like the taurine and stuff? You can get it from iHerb. Or are you talking about the magnesium? Can you find like the magnesium ionic chloride or something similar? I know iHerb sells this one, but this one you have to take way more of it because the absorption rate is it's a lot smaller. Is taking NAC sufficient or should you take glutathione as well? It depends what your goal is because NAC and acetylcysteine won't actually be a precursor to glutathione without glycine and I think creatine. I have to check. But these two has to be found in the body for it to actually activate glutathione correctly. So if you do have them, then it should be fine. The magnesium call brand are horse pills. Is there another brand you recommend? Patty, I'd rather you go with liquid. If you get a chance, then to actually take in the pills. Hibiscus dried, drink 2 cups a day. It's good for blood. It's good for the blood sugar. Yes, hibiscus tea. And the best thing to do with hibiscus tea, mix it with ginger, fresh ginger. And it's actually excellent for inflammation and for actually blood sugar levels. I would definitely do that. I drink that like probably twice a day. Creatine and what, sir, for fatigue? Oh, D-Ribose for fatigue. So you got creatine 5 grams and D-Ribose 5 grams. D-Ribose. I hope that helps. For diabetic type 2, what about for diabetic? Yeah, you can drink hibiscus if that's what you're asking for type 2 diabetes. You can do berberine, you can do hibiscus. There's a lot of other things you can definitely add as well too. You can shift your carbohydrates so you're not getting too much of an insulin spike all the time. What is your thoughts on berberine with respect to cardiovascular health? I've been using berberine for almost 4 years now. The problem is you have to actually cycle it every 45 days or every 8 weeks, give or take, because it does have a very strong antibacterial effect. So sometimes it will actually prevent certain digestive juices to actually break down the food. So it is good to actually cycle it. Based on the science research, they did claim that does reduce calcifications because it regulates calcium. So there's a possibility it could actually reduce calcification. And that's why some people, when they take berberine for a very long time, they end up getting A-fib or irregular heartbeat because they end up throwing the calcium to magnesium ratio. That means it is moving calcium out of your arteries, but it's actually throwing off the combination. So sometimes it's actually a little bit stronger than vitamin K2. I like it. I like using berberine. I use it every single day, but I do cycle it every 45 days. I go off for at least a good 10 days. I take 8 kiwi and sugar level is 146. Is that okay? I'm not sure about the 146. I'll have to check it because in the US is different than us Canadians here. So we look at the blood sugar being in like 5.1, 4.8. I'll just have to do the conversion. But you know, whether you're eating kiwis or not, the blood sugar goes up or down. That doesn't matter. It's all in regards to your HbA1c levels. Okay, heck. So don't take berberine if you already have AFib. Well, you could, but the problem is, you know, it is best to kind of, well, you could because it's going to actually speed up the process in the beginning of actually eliminating a little bit of the calcium while you're actually saturating in magnesium. So then you can kind of get off of it. Now you're actually, your ratio, calcium to magnesium, we're looking at a ratio 1 to 1. Once you get that ratio, then you should be good. But you know, you'll have to probably play with the berberine on and off. Don't take it like every single day, and of course make sure you're not taking it in the days you exercise, because it does actually deactivates or suppresses mTOR levels. So this way, if you're trying to put on muscle mass, it's going to actually prevent that a bit. My question, can you please answer for me? My doctor told me that calcium is high. What can I take? Your calcium as in what? Your calcification is high, or calcium as your like blood calcium is high? I need a little bit more information. Magnesium ionic chloride liquid product list the ingredients as deionized seawater. Is that all it is? Is that what's supposed to be? It's not ionized, it comes directly from seawater. Let me see if this one, the one you're looking at, maybe it could be, because there is some out there that actually they take magnesium chloride and they mix it with ionized. She did not say, she just said my calcium is high. I need a little bit more information, Lip. Did you do like a CT calcium score, or was it actually like a blood test? If your calcium is high, that means sometimes you could be an issue with being hypercholesterol. You could have like hyperthyroidism or something. Yeah, this one, it doesn't say anything about being iodinized. I know there's some companies out there, they actually have that there. Let me just make sure. So this one, it comes from Australian coast, southern Australian coast. Concentrated, reduced ocean water. In addition, is being high absorbed magnesium. Yeah, it doesn't say anything in regards to the iodinized water. She did blood work. I have problem with my cholesterol. Book a time with me, Lip. Let's talk about it. We can go a little bit more in specific. Uh, people cause anxiety, or anxiety cause PLP. Poverty cause anxiety, anxiety cause PLP. Anxiety causes most of the stuff. Which brand are you looking at, Cosmo Kramer? If you want to be normal, debate, stay away sugar. Just eat fruit, green tea once a day, and one palpitation. Anxiety causes palpitation. We'll go outside soon, Duke. Maybe it'll get a little bit sunny. Maybe not. I don't know. Guys, let's tap the screen. Maybe we'll get more people joining us as well too. Suddenly, I think everybody took a pause. No more questions. I know this shot is going to be a little bit short today, but we still got a good maybe 20-30 minutes. Hey user 915, can maple syrup or agave? What about can maple syrup or agave? They're all gonna spike your sugars. Is that what you're trying to talk about, Sean, or talk about causes of A-fib? You know, there's lots out there. So when it comes to atrial fibrillation, I'll tell you what the public say and what others will say. So some will say it's age. It's because the only reason is age because our intestines don't absorb enough magnesium as they should. Some would actually predict that it's actually artery issue where it's not as flexible anymore, which is true, and that's due as well to low of magnesium. Some will say it's a high blood pressure that causes palpitation. Well, if you have restrictions of arteries or inflammation in the arteries, then yeah, it is going to cause it. There's obesity, there's sleep apnea, there's stress, there's depression, there's anxiety, there's thyroid, family history is less than 1%. But all these things, they actually causes it. Or sometimes, you know, too high intake of calcium, because a lot of our foods are actually infused with additional synthetic calcium. Smoking, excess drinking, excess caffeine consumption, drug abuse. So all these will actually act like a stimulant or a diuretics. So diuretics flush out magnesium and calcium and zinc and vitamin B1. Thyroid, the only reason you get thyroid function because your magnesium is out of range. So, but if you've noticed, like all these issues that cause AFib or atrial fibrillation or palpitations or irregular heartbeat are because of the loss of magnesium. And what doctors do, they either put you like a electrical shock, or they do certain things for the heart, which is you don't need it. All you have to do is fix your magnesium correctly. And the problem is, since 1939, our soil is already depleted from minerals. So we don't get enough magnesium in our diet. Even if they say, hey, eat sunflower seeds, you get like the highest levels of magnesium. Well, we don't anymore because our soils are depleted. Our water is depleted from all the proper trace minerals. So that's why it's becoming an epidemic where we have issues with blood pressure, we have issue with cardiovascular disease, even more stress, even more fatigue, and all these things are happening because we're losing a lot of magnesium in our body. And that's why AFib becomes one of the issue. Atrial fibrillation is because you have lost magnesium, and your magnesium to calcium is not proper ratio anymore. And that's the problem, and that's where we actually have issues with right now. So that's why magnesium would be like almost like your number one supplementation. Seriously. Adon Ionic Mineral is a brand. The ingredients deionized water. Another brand I saw said deionized seawater. I have to look into that because the ones I have, they don't say anything about deionized water. So this one, it comes directly from the from Australia, southern Australian coast. This one comes directly from inland seawater from Great Salt Lake, Utah. So none of this stuff say ionized water or anything like that. I'll have to check these brand just to kind of look into it. What is the most magnesium I need a day for AFib? You need at least 200 milligrams per dose every 3 or 4 hours. Isn't potassium another thing that may be low? once you actually fix your magnesium, potassium is fixed and potassium is leveled. The only reason some of us struggle with potassium because we end up taking too much sodium, not enough potassium intake, but we get lots of potassium in our diet, but you need magnesium to actually help it saturate correctly. Because same thing with potassium, potassium still has to actually enter the cells correctly. And if it doesn't enter the cells correctly, you're still gonna always be deficient. How to resolve high uric acid? It's your diet. You're consuming too much sugars, too much fructose causes high uric acid. What is it good for increasing the brain sharpness, memory, and also keep the nervous system calm? L-theanine and L-tyrosine. And as a bonus, you can use Hibiscus. Should I take a glycinate or ionic chloride? Ionic chloride. Glycinate is more of relaxation, more than anything. It has very, very small amount of elemental. Same thing with potassium. The only reason we don't absorb proper potassium because the pH level in the small intestine is not strong enough. Let's look at that one here. Adon ionic minerals. Best type of magnesium, the best type, the one I've been taking, it is the ionic chloride. That's the one you need because it does have the highest elemental. Ionic mineral silica, ionic liquid. For brain sharpness, you have L-theanine, you have L-tyrosine, and Hibiscus. Seeing a cardiologist for 24/7 heart palpitation, what could cause that? I can help you fix the issue with the palpitation. I should actually write an ebook about heart palpitation because that is very easily fixed. You know, they attach these stupid monitors on you for 24 hours and they're constantly they're checking your heart rhythm and a whole bunch of stuff, and it's all bullshit. All you need to do is fix your magnesium. And when you go to the freaking doctor and you tell them, hey, I'm having irregular heartbeat or palpitation and stuff, he's like, well, let's put this monitor on you so we can actually detect it. And once they do that, and even if you actually go to your cardiologist or your doctor, tell him, hey, maybe I am deficient in magnesium, and he checks your magnesium, and it's fine because all they do is they check your serum magnesium, and serum magnesium only holds 1% of your true magnesium levels. You need to actually check your RBC magnesium blood test, and that actually checks your red blood cells of how much magnesium they're actually going to have or intake or within the cells itself. And that's what we need to check. And I guarantee if you're already having palpitation, I guarantee you're way below 6 milligrams per deciliter. You could be at 1 milligram per deciliter. Can I spell the last one? Hibiscus. So it's Hesperidin. If you go to my website, my main website, let me see, I'm just gonna make sure. You should see one there. It would say, it would say magnesium, niacin, and vitamin E, because I have all three ebooks put together, Dylan, because the magnesium saturation, and there's a niacin therapy and a vitamin E, so I have them all together. So if you go there, Dylan, you can actually find it. I would actually say magnesium, niacin, vitamin E. Is red meat still a part of your diet? I'm kind of scared because of high LDL. I eat red meat every day, the morning, at night, and I eat eggs every day, and I eat cheeses every day. LDL number to be high, Sean, it's irrelevant. It's not whether you have high LDL, it's whether your cholesterol levels are being oxidized. And that's why I've done a lot of YouTube videos on soft plaque predictors, how to reduce soft plaque, how to actually control calcifications. So there's a lot of things you can actually do. So nothing to do with LDL. You gotta take LDL and break it down to find out whether it's being oxidized or not. Let me write this down. So cholesterol 4.6, triglyceride 0.5, HDL 1.2, CT gave soft plaque. CT does not give soft plaque. You got 73% blocked. Okay. Should I increase fat and or are you a doctor? Red meat to increase HDL-C. What you have to do is take niacin to actually increase your HDL and lower your triglyceride. Wow, I don't know what to do because I love good pot roast by We Talk by ApoAB, but I gotta get the apple or something like that. Your ApoB, ApoA, ApoB. So ApoB to ApoA1 should be below, let's say 0.9 or 0.86. And that's what you need. When you get a blood test, Sean, you have to check your lipoprotein small a, LPPLA2, and MPO. These are like your most predictors for atherosclerosis. Then you can check your inflammatory factors such as HSCRP, fibrinogen, and homocysteine. These are another factor they can cause issue. Then we check your kidney, which is EGFR and ACR. So we know the creatinine to albumin ratio and make sure your kidneys are actually filtering correctly. If all these factors are 100% good, I don't care about your LDL, whether it's up or low, as long as these are good. And the last test we do is called OXLDL. So now we're actually breaking everything from ApoA1 to ApoB to LPPLA2 to LP small a to oxidized lipids. And now we know how much you're actually getting oxidized. So that's how you actually control everything. So whether you're eating red meat or you're in a vegan diet or whatever it is, these are actually the predictors that we have to check. And if we know any of these predictors are not doing good, then what do we do? Based on each one, I can actually help you. That's why I'm writing a new ebook on heart disease. I'm taking every single biomarker, and once you do your test, and if you have that biomarker being high, how you can actually reduce it, with what supplement would help. So I hope that actually, guys, explains everything about, soft plaque and calcification and biomarkers, because they're very important, very, very important. I'm taking one question from YouTube, one question from TikTok. How do I taper off a very low dose of Klonopin? I need more magnesium to taper off. If you're gonna wean off, how long? It depends how long you've been on it. It depends how long you've been on it. If you've been on it for a short term or not, because that's kind of what is it used for. I hope isn't it Klonopin is mostly used for what? For anxiety disorders and stuff like that? Or can you give me a little bit more information? I know I'm not familiar with all the different brands of medications out there. 16 ounces of Starbucks Nitro Cold Brew has about 700 milligrams of potassium. Wow. Another brand, Rise of Nitro Cold Brew, I found online, has 6,300 milligrams of potassium. How is that possible? How could that be? That's you sure there's that much? What kind of potassium? Is it potassium citrate, potassium chloride? I'm curious to find out. That's a lot of freaking potassium. So imagine taking one cold brew and it has 6,300 milligrams of potassium. That could actually cause issues with the gut, I know for a fact. I gotta look at this. I'm gonna write this down, Cosmo. You're finding a lot of interesting things. Nitro Cold Brew, 6,300 milligrams of potassium. Wow. Technically, potassium should actually be only consumed as food. It should never be consumed as even a supplement. I'm gonna look at this online. This is from Starbucks. What the hell they're infusing? Unless it's all like synthetic stuff. 6,300 milligrams potassium. The brand is Rise. Oh, the brand is Rise. Okay. Brew Rise. Rise. I'm just looking at, I'm checking this online. I'm curious now. 6,300 potassium nitro. Wow. Okay, let's see. Let's check it out. Nitro Brew Coffee by Rising Brewing. It has 200 grams of nitro cold brew coffee by Rise Brewing. Contains 144 of vitamin C. And it has 6,300 milligrams of potassium. How come I can't see a picture or anything? But it doesn't even say what kind of potassium. Is this even safe? It's not even safe to actually consume such a high amounts of potassium. That's a lot. About 2 years ago, just generalized anxiety disorder, they have 0.5 milligram, but have only taken core. Yeah, you have to saturate with magnesium and start adding L-theanine at a high dose, and you can actually wean off, no problem. Or the side effects of the caffeine, nitro may not help everyone, not only anxiety. So I wonder if they're infusing the coffee with a lot of potassium so you can actually reduce the amount of jittery or the restrictions or the diuretic that actually cause from caffeine. Because caffeine, it just does not make sense, because every time you drink coffee, your small intestine is actually, I read this a long time ago, I should actually look into it, Cosmo. Every time you drink coffee, because it is a diuretic, it freezes your intestine, your small intestine, for up to 2 to 4 hours. So in that time frame, if you're trying to actually consume potassium or consume magnesium, none of them are gonna be actually absorbed. You're just gonna drink them and they're just gonna flush out. But the reason to have 6,300 milligrams of potassium, I think because they know that the coffee or the brew is actually, it's a diuretic, so you don't lose a whole lot. You lose most of it from the potassium. I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know. I'll have to check into it. I'll have to actually reach out to the company and see what's the reason behind it and what kind of potassium. Want him to come off Lexapro, any advice what I need to do? Here, let me write this down. I'm just writing every question down just so I can put it in the description of the YouTube video. Lexapro. What are you taking that for? Is it for like insomnia and issues like that, Lexi? What about potassium supplement? You should never take a potassium supplement. And if you notice, a lot of the potassium supplements, they're only 99 milligrams. There's a reason for that. Technically, potassium should actually come from food. Yeah, nicotine use is good. You can get about 4 milligrams daily. It's good for your cognition and enhances the brain cells. It is, I think, on my cheat book, the ADHD. If it's not there, I can give it to you, but definitely it should be on my cheat book. Yeah, for anxiety, you could actually wean off, but you have to actually start taking L-theanine first. Once you actually start to kind of get used to L-theanine, it takes about 2 weeks roughly, you can actually start to wean off the medication. So you can take L-theanine and you can fix the issue very, very easily. So the nicotine use, 4 milligrams is ideal a day. You can use it daily if you want, or you can just use it every time you require it. I've been on L-theanine for 2 weeks. How much should I be taking? Well, you should be taking L-theanine at least anywhere between 200 to 1,000 milligrams. because only if you're not taking that much, it's going to be tough. Because keep in mind, there is amino acid, water soluble. Well, it's not water soluble. It's just it should not be consumed with foods. And when you take 200 milligrams, it's only going to last you about 2 hours in the body, and after that, you have to actually refill it up again. I add a teaspoon of cream tartar of my 6 scrambled eggs, and it has about 700 milligrams of potassium. Is that safe? Yeah, it is safe. It is safe to take that much potassium. I did a list before. Let me see. I'm just checking because I did a list a long time ago about potassium, how much to take per meal. Like technically, we always talked about taking 4,700 milligrams of potassium a day because you don't want to end up taking too much because you can actually affect your kidneys, right? The RDI is 4,700 milligrams, but it should never be consumed on an empty stomach or by itself. And the problem is if you end up taking too much, like the other one, 6,300 milligrams, is going to end up causing like hyperkalemia or anything like that as well too. Especially it's going to end up causing issues with the kidney filtration. Potassium with foods, the RDI is 4,700 milligrams. Why do some practitioners get nervous about taking potassium? Example, my supplement has potassium gluconate 160 milligrams, nicotinamide 5 milligrams, P5P 2.92. Yes, there's no problem with that. They don't know how to use it correctly. Like any special brand of L-theanine? I have the L-theanine that I use on my website. The only thing is you just gotta be careful when you take potassium, only if you're actually exceeding the levels of 4,700 milligrams, which is none of us do. And the only thing is you have to do is keep an eye on your kidney filtration, your GFR. Like, to be honest with you guys, if any of you guys take aspirin, for example, to thin out your blood, guess what? It will actually destroy your kidney filtration. If you're in the high 90s after using aspirin for 3 weeks, it'll drop in the low 40s. That's like almost like a stage 4 kidney disease. So potassium is not gonna do that. Potassium will never actually conflict with that unless you're taking in the upper levels of potassium chloride or potassium citrate. And potassium citrate is actually really good for the kidneys because anybody that has kidney stones or any type of issues, they actually use potassium citrate. And that's why, because a lot of the companies, a lot of the corporations are worried about it from people taking on an empty stomach because it could cause some issues with the gut, but it doesn't really digest in the gut. It's just, it breaks down by the digestive juices and actually it gets emulsified and heavily used in the small intestine, but you have to have like a very high pH level. Yeah, I don't know why they get nervous. Well, a lot of these guys are not really educated on a lot of the supplements. They're only educated on medicine and drugs. My diastolic number is higher than systolic. What could be the cause? I'm on synthroid, not thyroid. For thyroid, because you're very deficient in magnesium, and that's the only reason. You have way too much calcium in your body. What's the best form of potassium? Probably better to get it from food. Probably the best form out there would be pomegranate is good. Sweet potatoes are okay if you kind of follow, normal diet. Sweet potatoes, you can actually get potassium. Pomegranate, you can get potassium. One of the person mentioned on YouTube, Cosmo mentioned they take cream of tartar. You get about 700 milligrams of potassium, so that's really good as well. So that would be another option you can get potassium. There's these shakers. It says on it no salt, and you get every 1/4 teaspoon, you get about 650 milligrams of potassium as well. Other food ideas, you got pumpkin seeds and other things. The problem is with a lot of the food groups, sometimes we don't know how much potassium or magnesium we get just because our soil has been depleted, but we still get some. Avocado has some. I take cayenne to thin my blood. Yeah, perfect. As long as at least 40,000 or 90,000 heat units would be great with the cayenne. So a lot of these things will definitely help. How much theanine can I take daily? You can go as high as 1,000 milligrams. I have one of my patients takes 4,000 milligrams a day of L-theanine. It's not gonna harm you or anything. The only thing is you notice if you take too much, you might maybe have like a heavy headache a little bit sometimes. If you have a liver fibrosis and stage 3 the kidney disease, but you need to take painkiller for a headache, which is the safest? Aspirin, ibuprofen. Oops, my phone froze. Give me a sec, guys. I don't know. You're asking me a question, Cosmo, that I would never use any of them. None of them, to be honest with you. I would never use any chemicals or anything like that. I still probably will stick and use like supplementation, or maybe you can use CBD. It would be much safer. You can use some anti-inflammatory effects, but CBD would be nice and quick. Some people like to use peppermint is good, ginger, but these will take a little bit, sometimes a little bit longer for them to work. But heavy levels of vitamin B2 works good. For CBD, I don't know if you can say it on here, like the cannabidiol. So you can get it, like say, from marijuana and other things like that. Actually will help. But these would be like the safest way to actually get rid of, like, say, headaches, migraines, pain reduction. Some people take, there's another name I can't remember. Shoot, it comes from South Africa. Shoot. Can't remember the exact name, but I'll have to look it up again. I know one of my good friends uses it, and it works like really good. For headaches, you got rosemary, coenzyme Q10 as well. So there's a lot of other options we use. Sorry guys, Duke just woke up. He wants his little love. Of course, look at him. Okay, Duke. Okay, there we go. Many doctors recommend aspirin low doses. Well, aspirin, any type of dose is still gonna affect your kidneys. I would never use aspirin, no matter what. There's way natural stuff than using aspirin. Right, Duke? Move over, bud. So I play with you. If that's what you want, you just woke up. Willow bark is a natural form of aspirin. Works very similar. Say hello. Hey guys. Hello, we'll go. Maybe we can have some breakfast. Is it almost 1? What are you looking at? You miss me that much? Oh, you like that, eh? You ready to drive on Friday? Long hours, 8 hours to drive, 6 hours. Hopefully the weather is nice. Does that feel good or what? Yes. It's relaxing on my leg. Must be nice, eh, Duke? You have a nice little nap. What? What do you want to do? Want to go for a nice big walk? Yeah, you want to go for a walk? Okay, let's get up. Okay guys, we do have to get going because we've got to take Duke for a nice little walk. He just got up. It's his time now. Have you seen reversal of soft plaque, and what kind of food is good to eat with this? Usually, yes, I have, and we actually eliminate everything that is heavily processed. So we try to kind of stick to like a single ingredient intake of food. So single ingredients could be anything you can actually grow or anything you can actually buy from butchers, but nothing that is heavily processed. Just kind of keep it as simple as possible Very, very simple, nothing processed, and nothing that has more than one ingredient we don't touch. So I hope that answers your question. In the meantime, you guys have a nice day. I'll try to come back maybe later on today because I have to take Duke for a walk. But because I am free in the afternoon, I'll definitely come back. Seriously, we'll probably do another video. In the meantime, you guys have a nice day. We'll touch base.